let's go. Join, let's go. Yeah. We built it. We grind it. That's right, man. We ride it. We cruising. We built it. We grind it. That's right. Let's go. We ride it. Yeah. We cruising. Yeah. We built it. We grind it.
Name's Jody. Personal background, I've got 3 kids, 4 grandkids. I work in human resources after getting out of the medical field. I was in the medical field for 20 years. I am married. My husband is a car enthusiast just like me, although his car is more for performance and my cars are for show. I got into cars because family. I was raised around cars. We went to the drag strip in Rockford, Illinois quite a bit. And when we weren't doing that, then we were going to car shows when my dad was home. He was an over-the-road truck driver. My mom worked in factories as I was growing up in my life. And then it just progressed from there. So I guess ultimately me getting into cars was all because of my family.
So you like to put on shows and events for good causes and stuff, is that correct?
I do. For the past 6 years, I have been promoting shows and events all over the state of Missouri. Basically, all I do is peruse different web pages, different Facebook pages, TikTok, Instagram. I look for show flyers. It started out where I was looking, and now more and more people have recognized that I don't need to look. They send me the information. So I've got a Facebook page, Missouri Car Meets and Cruises, where I promote all the events all over the state of Missouri and then some of the surrounding states within so many miles of state lines. The past 3 years, I have been organizing events to benefit local charities in some way, shape, or form. And each year, it's been a different charity. This year is a different charity. We're excited to host this one. With the shows that I personally coordinate and promote for our local charities, I include activities for family. I include silent auctions. I include the car show, food trucks, live music, or a DJ. Most of the time I prefer the DJ though. And we just have a great time.
What are some of the big charities you've given to?
Last year, our big event was for Springfield Workshops Industries. They employ all the disabled people within our area, and that's disabilities ranging everything from age, because they've aged out of any other normal workforce. Last year, some people in the car community decided to use their parking lot as their personal takeover spot, where they did donuts, burnouts, and just made fools of themselves. It's not the car community that we support. We support taking care of our community, not destroying our community. So those individuals ended up doing over $6,000 worth of damage to their parking lot at SWI. Within 30 days, actually a few less than that, myself and a few other people in the car community put on a show for SWI and raised over $6,000 for them to repair their parking lot. So that was a big win. The end of the year last year, we decided to go out with a bang, and we did a Frozen Santa car show. It was cold, it was windy, but it was worth it because we did it for donations of toys for Tots. That was the entry fee. We also requested anybody to donate any camping supplies for the veterans at the Connecting Grounds homeless shelter. And the turnout was phenomenal. We filled my SUV twice over with toys for Tots and my SUV with camping supplies for the Connecting Grounds.
So that's good. You really kind of helped bring the car community together, help with events. online, offline, and help with donating for others and help others succeed where they normally couldn't outside in this real world.
Joy, let's go. Joy, let's go.
Why did you pick this car?
RAIA, as I call her, Rise Above It All, is actually my 6th third-gen Camaro. My very first one was an '89 RS, and I kicked myself in the ass every day for selling it. And as a matter of fact, 6 months after I sold it to the lady, she totaled it out by trying to miss hitting a deer. And then I've had 2 other white ones and a red one. And RAIA. I had originally started out in an '87 Fox body. When it came time for me to start a car build, loved my Fox, but we had a major love-hate relationship. I'd fix something, she'd break something else. I'd fix something else, she'd break 2 more things. So when I finally got her mechanically sound, I was like, all right, this is it. We're breaking up. Sold her the same day I sold her, drove to Kansas and bought RAIA from an 80-year-old gentleman who had her since she was brand new off the showroom. When I bought her, she had 89,602 miles. She currently has 102,000 and some change on mileage. Am I worried about the mileage? No, I bought her to drive her and enjoy her.
And again, what kind of car was it again? Is this?
RAIA is an '88 Chevy Camaro RS. She is on the cusp end of the '88 builds. So she would actually have been considered an '89 if she'd been built a month later.
Okay.
All right, let me show you what's under her hood. She's got the factory 305 with the 700 R4 transmission. Not much has changed under the hood. Come on over. So the only thing changed underneath the hood has been new plugs, wires. Of course, she's a 1988 Camaro. She needs those things. She's had a new air filter. We had to change the whole HVAC system because our other one was really old and it needed to be upgraded. And she's got a couple of new pulleys. Other than that, that's pretty much all that's been changed. We have deleted the smog pump, and eventually the charcoal canister will be removed, and sometime over this winter or early spring, she will go in for new valve stem gaskets and valve cover gaskets. She's got a little bit of a smoking problem when she starts up first thing, but it's a quick puff and she's over and done with. She doesn't continually smoke.
Are you going to do anything with the engine as you talked about? I mean, is there any ideas they may want to change or try or upgrade or add for cosmetic looks, or just, like you said, maybe keep it original?
I really want to keep it original, but my husband has got an idea that we're going to drop a crate motor in it and put a small cam in it, just to give her a little bit more aggressive sound. Back in the 80s, we were able to get away with straight pipes and glass packs. Well, in today's world, you can't get away with that so much. So getting the same aggressive sound out of the car between the motor and the exhaust today, you have to do those kind of things. You have to upgrade different things in the motor, including a cam, and you have to do different things to the exhaust in order to get that 80s original sound and not get in trouble with the cops for it.
Would you mind starting it for us?
Don't mind at all. Okay, that's it for the engine. Let's go for a ride.
So tell me about the interior in this car. Is there anything that you would like to change up, or do you want to keep it all stock?
Eventually what I'd like to do is in the front seats, take where it's all cloth, put leather on the outside edges, and leave the cloth original on the insides. And same with doing it to the back seat. I think it's just going to make for better wear and better aesthetics. It's going to look much better. Carpet wise, that'll stay the same. I've actually got a friend redoing some door handles for me, that the door handles are going to be black to help pull in some more of the black from the surrounding interior, because she's all murder red inside right now. And don't get me wrong, it's a great look for this car, but I just adding my own touches. This here is going to eventually have the piping off the center console pad, and it will be changed to just flat rib, double striped red here. And that's pretty much going to be it for any interior changes. I'm trying to keep her as original as I possibly can. Anybody who's actually seen her in person, the videos don't show completely how much she sparkles, I'm certain, but her paint job went from white and silver with some black to white and black with glass flake in the paint job. So she stands out in the sun. Oh, side in just a moment, we're going to see the fairgrounds. This is where they hold the steam engine shows at. And then up here is the back way into Kirk's Collision. And where that silver truck is?
Down there. Yep.
Yes. So we're going to see something really good. I keep wanting to stop and ask this guy if he's willing to sell this car, because it would give me 2 Camaros. And there it is.
So are you going to try to stop and try to get that?
Oh.
That's just a dream, right now?
Yeah, it's a dream.
Eye candy for the moment.
Having one project car is already enough. But we've actually got 2 between my Camaro and the hubby's Mustang. That's plenty for now.
So tell me, is there anything in this car that you want to change up, or would you like to, hold on a second, we're going.
Ooh. So in these cars with the 700 R4 transmissions, if you're just cruising around town doing 50, 55, you want to keep it in the regular drive. It's better for the transmission because it keeps it from doing a lot of major changes in the shifting pattern from up, down, up, down, up, down. And when you start going over 55 consistently, like interstate travel or 4-lane highway travel, then you'll want to cruise or bump up to overdrive so that the transmission can breathe a little bit more.
And how well is the transmission in this car? Is it doing pretty good, or?
It's rock solid.
Rock solid.
Just like everything built in the 80s, it's rock solid. If it weren't for the fact that it's just for my peace of mind changing out the plugs and plug wires and things, I probably would have left it all alone, but none of that stuff had been done since its routine maintenance things. So I just as soon have it done so I know it's done and I can count the miles on everything from there on.
So you plan on keeping everything pretty much stock. Does that include the wheels too? You want to change them out for a little bit, or keep them as they are?
I keep playing with that idea, and I really like the factory Z28 wheels. They're not much different than those that are on here already. They've still got the 5-spoke to them, but inset, they've got 2 black lines that run down the insets. But I don't know. I think I'm just going to keep the wheels that are on it and have them custom powder coated to my preference. And I'm still playing around with those ideas. So some cars have great looking factory wheels that you can do so much with, and some cars, yeah, their factory wheels aren't the greatest. A lot of the issues with these cars have to do with the steering column, turn signal, brakes, wiring hiccups. The older they get, the wiring starts to deteriorate in the steering column and then leading back to the tail end of the car. So it can lead to brake light issues, turn signal issues. I haven't had turn signal issues, but I have had brake light issues. I had no issues last year, none whatsoever. Sent her off for paint and body. She came back from paint and body, didn't have any issues. A couple of weeks after I got her back from paint and body, the driver's side brake light stopped working. We thought, okay, it's the bulb. Changed the bulb out, and it started working, and then it stopped working again. And it's like, okay, weird. Messed around with the bulb again, and it started working again. Didn't think anything of it, and then it went from that brake light not working to the passenger side not working. My third brake light always worked, no problems. Okay. So I called up a wiring guy, and he's been doing wiring for 30 years. He comes and he fixes the problem, and we thought, okay, great, it's all fixed, no more issues. And 2 weeks after he come and fixed it, it went back to Simon Says, except this time it included my third brake light. Sometimes it would be the driver's side not work, sometimes it would be the passenger side, sometimes it was both, and the third brake light was the only one working, so you never knew which one was working. And called my wiring guy back up, Joe Maria, and he comes and looks at it again, and like a magician, he does a few things, and it's fixed. We go to do a cruise for a memorial service for somebody from the car community, and my brake lights decided that no, they weren't going to work. Again, my third brake light always worked, but the other two wanted to go back to Simon Says. So it's been a trial and error thing with those brake lights. I've changed the pigtails. I've currently got, some people call it the multi-switch, some people call it the turn signal switch, but it's whatever you want to call it. I've got that I've got to replace. Unfortunately, replacing it in these cars isn't near as easy as it is in the newer cars, because the steering column is all one piece covered in plastic. Newer cars nowadays, your steering column has two pieces. It's got a top piece and a bottom piece and a bolt that holds two pieces together around the wiring on your steering column. These cars, not that way. And I'm kind of hoping that I can bypass my issue by feeding the wire down some way. I've got to play with some ideas to change out the multi-switch. If not, then it's pull the whole steering column out and run the wire down, which is a real nightmare, and I'm not looking forward to waking up to that one.
But if it's got to be done, you're going to do it, right?
Yeah, if it's got to be done, I'm going to do it. I've got the multi-switch. I've changed out the sockets in the rear end, so.
And you come this far with your car being painted, fixed up, and everything, so might as well keep going. Don't let one thing just keep you from it, right?
Yep, exactly. And my husband always gets on to me because he's like, you know, your brake lights are finicky. Yeah, but my third brake light always works. And he said, that's all well and fine until you get behind a semi or in front of a semi and they can't see your third brake light, which is true, because my third brake light actually is on the bottom side of my spoiler. Works great for cars and SUVs behind me, but not so much for a semi.
How hard is it for you to get parts for your vehicle?
You know, I thought it would be easy. It's been ages since I had to deal with salvage yards. Matter of fact, I think the last time I was ever in a salvage yard, my oldest daughter, who's 30-something, was, 10, 11. And the salvage yards were plentiful. You had plenty to choose from. But nowadays, the salvage yards are few. They don't keep older cars for very long. When they do get an older car in, it's like everybody and their uncle that was looking for parts for that particular make and model have already been there and just tore that car down to a skeleton. So finding parts for this one is hard. There are a few places that you can order them from, catalog type places. For this one, I have to do a lot of Classic Industries and Eckler's. Sometimes Hawks Motorsports, but again, Hawks Motorsports deals with a lot of salvage parts from salvage yards. And that's the other problem, is many salvage yards have gone through to a conglomeration, I guess you would call it. They all get together on media and decide, okay, you've got these parts, I've got these parts, we'll put them all in a catalog and we'll ship them across the world. It's no longer you go to a salvage yard and you pick and pull. There are very few pick and pull salvage yards around anymore. So that makes for do-it-yourselfers harder to do yourself.
And real quick, in case the people that are watching don't know about restoring cars, year, makes, and models and stuff, they get confused. The reason they call yours a third gen is why?
First gen Camaros are 67 to 69. Second gen Camaros are 70 to 81. Third gen Camaros are 82 to 92. Fourth gen Camaros are 93 to, oh my goodness, I always get this mixed up. I want to say 2006, and then they stopped making Camaros for a little bit, and then started with the 5th gen, 6th gen, and what you've got nowadays.
Okay, so it goes with the years.
It goes with the years.
Years like that, and that's why they call it their third generation.
Yeah.
And you think it's harder to find parts for the first 3 years, or for 3 generations, I'm sorry?
Definitely.
Than anybody else at the moment?
Definitely harder to find parts for first through third gen. First gens are becoming even harder to find, and when you do find them, you better be prepared to pay out your wallet and then some. Even the shell of a third gen Camaro, I've seen them range everywhere from $3,000 to just like the body without the front nose cone, and that's it. That's all you're getting, and it's a pretty rusted out piece, all the way to $10,000 for a decent body, a roller as they call it, without a motor and trans. And I've seen some of them sell for $10,000, $12,000, but you're still having to redo the car because it's not in great shape.
It was about 2 years ago. Maybe it was actually during COVID when I was looking for parts for my Mustang. I never knew what a roller was. And that's the first time I figured out what a roller was, when I was asking somebody about their Mustang. And I asked them to check the engine. They go, dude, it's a roller.
Yep.
And I didn't know what a roller was. So I've learned a lot too, in the past.
Some rollers, depending on the person who's selling, some rollers come with the transmission. Some of them are no motor transmission. So it kind of varies on who the seller is and exactly what they classify as a roller, but almost all rollers don't have a motor.
Since you fixed this up, and she's technically your baby at the moment, I know you had your other ride, but she's your baby because it was here first. Would you ever consider selling it if the right price came around? Or, if that happened to cross paths, that somebody may really, really want this one bad?
The first 3 months I had this car, I was actually out cruising in her, and I had a gentleman stop me at a stoplight and yell out at me, $12,000, and I said, $12,000 what? And he says, $12,000. I'll buy it from you right now. I told him it's not for sale. I've had it long enough. And he said, everything's for sale with the right price. And I said, this isn't going to sell for any price. I said, unfortunately, even if my girls don't want her, they're going to end up with her because she's going to be a heritage car.
That's very nice. And that, I think that My take on that is I think the heritage cars are more valuable. I mean, of course, it's a thought that counts. It's been passed down generation and stuff like that. But some people don't respect that, and they get it and they take advantage of it. So that sounds like to you it's more valuable.
It is more valuable. Matter of fact, we've got 3 first-gen Camaros in our family that will be heritage cars. One of them is my mom's, and it was my stepdad. He lost his battle with cancer a couple of years ago, but he had rebuilt from frame up something called rotisserie style, a 68 Camaro. We affectionately call it Bumble because it is very yellow, like Bumblebee from Transformers. And then my aunt and her husband had redone rotisserie style, a 67 and a 68 Camaro. Now all 3 of these Camaros are soft top convertibles. And again, all 3 of them have been completely restored, frame up, and they were done by family. And when my mom passes away, I will get the Camaro. And if something were to happen to me, it goes to my brother. If something happens to either one of us, then it goes to the oldest of my mom's grandchildren, which would be my oldest daughter. And then it goes from there. And same with my aunt's Camaros. She's got 2 kids and no grandkids, but the cars will be given to other family members when the time comes.
I would love to pass my car down to somebody that I know, family or something, because it's just something I started with, and I want to keep it,
Yeah.
So it's just a meaningful thing for people to do, and some people get lucky for that.
Heritage cars mean something to the person who originally built it, and then those that inherit it, it means something to them. Like my mom and dad's Camaro, for instance. My oldest daughter loves that Camaro. Matter of fact, my mom was out of town last weekend, and we were at a show. It was a Chevy versus Ford show, and my daughter and her husband drove my mom's Camaro to the show, and my daughter just absolutely loved it because she knew that her grandfather was looking down on her and just smiling and loving the fact that she was enjoying his car. And he actually even rides with me in my car. Every time I go somewhere, he's right here.
What is your desire to drive, so to speak?
I guess my desire to drive stems from the fact that I didn't realize how emotionally attached I was to driving until I went through the hiccups and issues with my Mustang. Every time I wasn't able to drive it for mechanical reasons, weather reasons, whatever the case may have been, it put me in a foul mood. I wouldn't feel like doing much. I wouldn't feel like hanging out with friends. And then when I got RAIA, she's unfortunately one of those fair weather cars. I only drive her when the weather's nice because earlier this year she had paint and body work done, and these cars are notorious for rust, and I just didn't want to risk having any more rust issues. So she comes out when the weather is nice, and it's hard on me emotionally because driving, just cruising, makes me feel better. I just get lost in the music, the sound of the car, the feel of the road. And if it's a really good cruise down a backcountry road, it just lifts my spirits.
And so whenever you're cruising down the roads, is there any kind of music you listen to, or do you like it quiet sometimes?
I'm a Gen Xer, so of course I listen to the hair bands and everything from the 70s, 80s, some 90s, and My husband is quite a bit younger than me, and he's got me hooked on some of the newer heavy metal hard rock stuff. So I'll listen to everything from Five Finger Death Punch to Alice in Chains to I don't listen to much rap, but one of my favorite artists is Tom McDonald, and I listen to some country, not a lot anymore. It's just gotten to be more like rock and roll than country, so it's lost a lot of the country appeal that it used to have for me. I listen to, like I said, a lot of 70s and 80s, REO, Styx, Jefferson Starship, Fleetwood Mac, Heart, Madonna, you name it, I listen to it.
And so on these back roads and cruising and stuff, it's just like, it puts you in a different world, doesn't it?
Yeah, it mellows me out. And if I've had a bad, stressful day at work, I've had somebody call me up and chew me out for reasons that have nothing to do with me personally. They themselves are just having a bad day. I get in my car and I just drive, and I feel so much better. Having cars that you enjoy driving makes such a difference. This is just how big of a deal driving a great car makes me feel. I had a Nissan Murano, loved it. It was a great car, had no problems with it, but I didn't enjoy driving it. It just wasn't me. So I traded it in and got a 2019 Mustang EcoBoost. And driving that car feels great to me, just like driving this Camaro. It feels great to me.
So you recommend if somebody doesn't enjoy cruising, it could be the car. So if they would get another maybe vehicle that they would be happy about, excuse me. So if they would get another vehicle that they could be happy about, then they may enjoy cruising maybe more, right? Is that correct, maybe?
Ultimately, it's your heart's desire. I mean, if you want a Volkswagen Beetle, don't settle for a Miata.
Yeah.
If you want a sports car or an American muscle car, don't just settle on that SUV or that truck. Wait until the time is right, and it takes time. I can tell you that much right now. It took my husband and I 5 years to get to where we are from where we had started from, to get back into cars. And we started out with struggling to make car payments on a car, one of his good friends giving us a car, literally giving us a car, to where we are now. And we've got 3 vehicles that are paid off, and currently the only one we owe on is the Mustang. But it was time and patience to get what we wanted and get where we are.
Which is basically like the desire to drive, right?
It is the desire to drive. Desire to feel better behind the wheel. Well, that's me and my RAIA, my 88 Camaro, and my Desire to Driver. Thanks for watching Desire to Drive.
How come this isn't going?
You got the lids on, Mom.
Oh.